Hey folks, Corey here with Fist and Stone Wargaming. Welcome back to the Stone Path. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at glow effects for plasma rifles, but these can really work for any kind of glow effect you want to do. The nice part about this technique is that it can work for just about any color using contrast paints. So to start off, I decided I would just do some testing with the contrast paints I had on hand. You can see here I've just got a Yendon yellow, Blood Angels red, Volupus pink, Magos purple, Talisar blue, Kellyan green, Warp lightning, and I threw in Tesseract glow. The core of this, though, is going to be Mechanicus Standard gray, Administratum gray, and White Scar. Basically, any mid-tone light gray and white will work for this technique. The idea here is to paint the base in grayscale and then use the contrast paint as a tint. Here I've created some test blanks using some rhino doors. The hatching pattern is going to create some great relief to look at how this effect is going to work. I just gave these a quick spray paint with black and dry brush them up in silver. So to start off, I'm going to take the Mechanicus Standard gray, your basic mid-tone gray, and coat the entire test area with that paint. It's pretty straightforward base coating here, nothing special about it, just fill in the whole area. Once that area was fully base coated, I came in with the Administratum gray, or the very light gray. I'm going to paint about 2/3 of the area in the central portion to kind of indicate this glow effect, more intensity towards the middle, darker towards the outside. On the right side here, I'm painting this as a layer, just layering it on. And on the left side, I'm going to do something very similar, but I'm going to actually overbrush it. Not really a dry brush, but just catch the raised detail to see how that changes how the contrast paint is going to react with less brightness underneath it and only on the high points. Once that's done, I'll come in with white. In this case, I'm using White Scar. And again, now about 1/3 of the area, working towards the center. Same process. I'm going to layer the right-hand side. And really on the left-hand side, just overbrush, catching the high points in that central third. Next step, just flood it with a contrast paint. I'm using an Indian yellow here in this particular example. Be careful about pooling. You want to go through and make sure you don't have too much saturation. You want to wipe it up like you would on a normal application of contrast. You'll see here the other thing I'm doing is I'm actually painting a little bit of the contrast paint around the test spot. That gives us some kind of a look of how the glow might affect whatever we've painted around the area. So how'd this stuff come out? Why don't you go ahead and take a look for yourself. Some of the colors really took to this technique a little better. Some of them were a little bit more intense. Certainly the higher saturated colors really dulled down the undertones, the gray undertones, more. But the less saturated colors, the ones that tend to be thinner in their pigmentation, allowed for that glow to really show through a little better. And of course, the Tesseract glow really isn't a contrast paint, but it was interesting to see this is more opaque. Since I had 2 extra blanks, I also did Talisar blue and Blood Angels red, both with a 1-to-1 mix with contrast medium to see how a thinned out version might look. Alright, that's enough playing around. Time to apply it to a model. Here I've got a Venerable Dreadnought from Games Workshop that I previously painted up. The coils for the plasma rifle I just left in standard silver at the time. I'm going to use this technique, and I'm going to use the Talisar blue for my contrast paint. So following the same process, I'm just going to paint with the Mechanicus Standard gray over the entire area. Come in with the Administratum gray for about 2/3 of the area. and then the white over the central third of the area to create the base glow effect. Here's what it looks like once it's dry. And just before we come in with the Talwar blue, I decided to thin this out 50-50 on a 1-to-1 mix with the contrast medium for the first layer. But I wasn't too pleased with how it came out, so I came back in with a second layer, which I didn't film. Here's how that looks when that second layer has been applied. It really gives a nice deep, rich blue around the edge. So in reality, I went back to essentially putting the Talwar blue on straight without any thinning medium. And then here's how it looks on the model. It's a pretty quick, effective technique to get a decent look for a plasma glow without spending a lot of time on it. Here's a few pictures for you guys to enjoy. And a couple of pictures of some infantry I did using the same technique. This project was a lot of fun, all the experimentation, trying out a few different things. Don't be afraid yourself to try things out. Try some of what I've done here and combine it with something that somebody else has done. Put your own spin on it, whatever. If you found it useful, please give it a like down below. If you want to see more content, subscribe, click the bell icon for future video notifications so you can catch stuff as soon as it's posted. As always, thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.